We got some action on the screen here, boy. Here we go.
Work fast.
Chop, chop.
So you're a developer. You're probably good at writing code, but I bet you can't build a company.
Yeah!
That's actually hard. This show is all about taking developers out of their natural element. You gotta get away from the keyboard and in front of the whiteboard. And if you do that well, we might let you get in front of the boardroom too.
Please, pull over here.
This is the full stack.
I always say any team who can build something best for the world, may they win. And let me be that best.
I feel like this is a great opportunity to really just, test my skills and push myself to the limit.
I'm actually just excited. This feels like play, and I think the most creative ideas come when you're playing.
This is what Philly people do. Well, don't we love an underdog story? What's more Philly than that?
Over the next 6 weeks, you're all gonna be building companies, not just projects. This is not a hackathon. A lot goes into building a company. Before you can build a company, you have to pitch the idea. Is it even worth writing code for? So before we get to that part, we're gonna have our judges decide who and what team is best at doing that. To help us decide who wins that, we're gonna introduce our first judge, Jason.
I hope you came ready to sell me a dream today. I am Jason Lengstorf. I run a company called CodeTV. Prior to that, I was a developer for real, in case anybody was wondering.
All right, and our next judge is gonna be Darko. Come on up.
My name is Darko. I'm what they call a developer advocate these days. Excited.
All right, so our first challenge is going to be a mini game. We're gonna have 2 cards. One's gonna be a company profile and an area that's ripe for disruption. You're gonna have 30 seconds to come up with your best pitch. The winner of this particular competition is gonna get 15 extra minutes in the next challenge.
In order to get that chance, they have to convince us that they've got a good idea. That ability to communicate, that ability to tell a story, to connect what they want to build with what I want to see in the world, what I would want to use as a customer, right? That is going to be so important. And I think a lot of people overlook that, especially if they haven't been a founder before.
All right, we got our first team, PhilaCon Valley.
My name is Victor Jackson. I'm a community organizer, and I use software engineering to solve community problems. So I am here by myself today. You look online, you go search for a body pillow. It doesn't fit the need, right? It doesn't. But where do you go? You go to Slack for weighted blankets. You know what it's called? Covered.
All right, so our next team is going to be Masters of None. Let's go.
My name is Brian Hough. I used to work in public relations. I went to a hackathon after work one day, fell in love with coding. I didn't know what anybody was doing. And then that really spurred me. This was like 2019, making me want to become a software engineer.
My name is Jasper Croome. I'm a founding engineer at an AI company based in Seattle. I do a little bit of everything, kind of a technical generalist.
AI for vintage clothing.
All of these vintage clothing trends, they're based off of the most popular things. There are patterns that exist in the past, and some of them go away, but there's solid through lines, and those are exactly what these AI models are trained to focus on. This is a huge opportunity to really lean into what people call out as a weakness of AI. The big selling point here is that the folks who are most likely to say AI isn't a solve are ones who like wearing vintage clothing.
Nice work, nice work.
All right, it's time for me to find the next team to pitch. Chicas in Action.
My name is Marisol Espinoza. My career has pivoted from education into biotech. I do recruitment.
My name is Valeria Avila Guerrero. So I did mechanical engineering for my undergrad and moved on to robotics for my master's. And I've been working with a startup for the past 6 years in recycling and desorting facilities from robotics. So automating the whole process. So you've all heard that social media is not connecting us as it was supposed to, but disconnecting us. So we thought of this amazing idea to touch grass. So we present you Grounded. Our platform is Instagram, and what we're gonna do is show the world what you're doing to touch grass, but it doesn't have to be grass. We believe there's a huge market for touching things to ground yourself again.
All right, the 404 Arc-itects.
So my name is Jonathan Exume. I have been a technology consultant for well over 20 plus years. I focus mainly on AI, cybersecurity, and robotics.
I go by Marco and Lawson. My background is software development, and right now we're actually going around doing workshops.
So maybe you're not the type of person who wants a cat or a dog. You're into something a little bit more exotic, right? You're the kind of person who'd love to have a cheetah, right? Or where do you find that? And how do you know that you are a sloth person? Well, we've got it for you. It's called Hot Cheetah. You scroll through and you see pictures, right? You get to actually know the animal. Where are they from? What conditions do they like? You put up your profile, and then we create a match. And we find out, are you really a Python kind of guy? We'll help you find out.
Ship happens. On up.
My name is Jackie. I write code and talk about it in front of audiences, whether they're like in person or online. And I just try to help people learn and bring them along with me.
My name is Anand Kapoor. I'm an engineering manager, and I run a cloud infrastructure and services team.
Nice. As everyone knows, 2016 is making a huge comeback. We've got makeup, we've got fashion. Everything that was old is new again, just like blockchain. Did you want to add it to literally everything? So do we.
You want to be able to prove that you've done your morning workout, you've drank that protein shake. So we'll store it on the blockchain.
We're calling it ProChain.
Good work. Good job. All right, so our next team is going to be City.
I'm Bhuvaneshwari Subramani. You can call me Bhuvana for short. At present, I'm Vice President, Customer Advocacy and Success with Intuitive.ai.
My name is Harpreet Singh Sidhu. So I'm working as a solution architect in one of the insurance company in Philadelphia.
That's kind of easy. That's already exists.
I kind of feel like this one already exists.
Household chores. It's not one person's problem. Whether you're a single, you're married, you're really fed up with AI, coding, anything, you name it, everybody are facing this problem. And we have a solution to it. We are bringing in a brain-computer interface.
We will connect your brain with the AI.
That's time, all right, that's time. Our next team is Couples Therapy.
My name is Sandri. My career focus is front-end development. I can do both, to be honest, but I just prefer to do some interfaces and to do my craft in the front-end side.
My name is Kateryna. I'm mostly focused on backend and DevOps. I'm a software engineer for about seven years. Right?
Everyone uses a taxi, I'm sure, but on Uber, on Lyft, when you come in, sometimes you see like a strange scent, and you really don't like this scent, huh?
I just want to, please, pull over here, bro.
If you order a Uber, we want to provide you option to choose a scent. So it will be B2B application for Uber to choose a specific scent. You can choose scent over the world from all French fragrances and perfumes, and maybe even different scents like AI scent, if you like bro from Silicon Valley.
Yeah, and there will be an opportunity to get this candle sent to your home if you like it.
It will be Scenttuber.
All right, our last and final team, Control-Alt-Elite. Play our words.
My name is Jasper Croome, but I go by Jazz. I was a product manager for Hewlett Packard Enterprise for 2 years. I was working on internal software tools.
My name is Max Charles II. Right now, a lot of my focus on is AI, data, and cloud systems. I feel like a lot of them are very cohesive in this era right now.
House plans.
Have you ever thought about, you wanted to renovate your house? You think that like, I just want to plan. What would be the fastest way I can get my plan? So introducing, we have Strand. And what Strand is the one fastest way to get your house plan to your home.
All right, let's start. All right, look, we heard from all of these teams, right? So
this was they weren't quite sure how to tie it in, so they went for e-commerce.
Lava control, right?
to really realize that it's time to step it up a little bit.
Good?
We're good.
Let's do it. One of the things that we noticed is that in some of the teams, there was somebody who was very clearly a strong presenter and somebody who was a little less comfortable. This is a competition where you're on a team, so really leverage your team. Take advantage of each other's strengths, because remember, later on, we're gonna have a lot of different challenges and you're gonna switch roles, right? So lean into each other's strengths, really take advantage of that.
And so now it's time to reveal the winner. The 404 Arc-itects.
Great job. You had the most charismatic pitch. You had an absolutely absurd card combo, which I think was a strong handicap. And you managed to tell a really engaging story. You got good jokes, you had good wordplay, and you told us a story that we wanted to go along with the whole way.
Actually, the 30-second time to build a case and pitch it for 90 seconds was literally nervous, because the moment you saw the options given to you and then talk about it, that 30 seconds disappears.
That felt amazing. I was just reaching for stuff, and whatever came out is what came out.
I think when you're a little bit nervous, it gives you that opportunity to bring that excitement and that energy in and just kind of come at it full force. We're positioned well to do well, and we're just gonna do the best we can and see how it goes.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Chaos Engineering Challenge. The theme of this week has been the idea around the pitch, but it turns out you're never gonna pitch just one time. There's gonna be times you're gonna have to actually make a pivot, right? That idea you started with may not be the idea that you end with. So we're gonna introduce the need to pivot. And to help us understand where we're going to pivot from, we're gonna bring back our founders.
All right, everybody.
Yeah, hi.
Right, okay. So we've been working on the hot cheetah idea.
Love it.
Right, we raised, I forget how much for 4%.
Billions.
But it was a lot, and we spent it all. So we're almost out of money, okay? But we have one last chance to raise. Problem is, turns out that that exotic animals,
especially pangolins, illegal.
So this business is not gonna work, so we're gonna have to pivot. You need to figure out how to take hot cheetah and pivot it into a business that we can pitch to our investors.
The problem is, we have to pitch this in 2 hours.
That's right, investor call is
2 hours. We have a lot of runway, so yeah.
This is make or break, everybody.
Hopefully everyone's clear and on the same page. You got 2 hours and that starts now.
We got some action on the screen here, boy. Here we go.
I'm on my solo dolo.
Now, in this scenario, how much weight do you all want to put on the presentation versus the idea?
They gotta make me believe it, right? Within the parameters of this challenge, right? This is a company it's got one chance to get this right. You know, we got very limited time. We gotta be able to get from point A to point B, and we gotta do it fast.
For the clarity of the idea, practicality of the idea, and something that you all feel like we can fill in the gaps.
I also need their belief in the idea, because everybody there should be able to answer a question, who gives a bleep?
Yeah, if they can't say it with their chest, then I feel like they're, you know, like, we could kind of do this, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want somebody who says, we saw a path. And I think, you know, if they can stand up there and make me believe it, it's an idea they can get all the way behind.
What can we pitch to that is legal, right?
The idea that they had, great. The only thing that needed to be changed was, I think, the copyright and the focus of like where folks are going.
You know, even though the relationship isn't with like exotic animals, the relationships with us, like a hackathon team. So.
All right, everybody, we got just a quick little note from the founders. We've got one small adjustment that we want to make.
Our TAM is too low, right? We need to go ahead and expand beyond just exotic pet lovers.
Like we gotta think big. We need to appeal to everybody. Global appeal, everybody. All right, good luck. Remember, we're almost done.
You have an introductory platform, right? And where all the additional money comes from is that you're selling things on top of it. So what if you start off with the base one, it is the subscription level, all the other kind of stuff.
Oh, should have thought of that before I started generating this.
Right.
What is
My instinct right now is to like overstretch and say like, let's build a mobile app. And I'm like, no, stop it.
No problem. A little more bad news, sorry, everybody.
Hot cheetah is a hot mess. It seems to be attracting an audience we didn't really like.
It also got like 10 different trademarks, and we'll let you use your imagination for what kind of trademarks those are.
Yeah. So we need you to help us, rebrand, right?
Yeah.
So come up with a brand new brand for this pivot we're making.
And remember, meeting's in 40 minutes, so work fast.
Chop, chop.
We already did that. I think I'm ahead a little bit. I already did that. We need something more punchier, like aggressive version and short.
All right, quick time check. You got 20 minutes left. If you haven't started thinking about your pitch, start working on that right now.
If we can nail the pitch outline and we have time still, then we can try and deploy it. So we can say, and it's actually available right now.
So now to think about it, we're pitching to the founders. So we're doing this wrong. So we should not do the skit.
I need to take one more thing off. Crap, how do I do it? Oh no. No.
I had to slow down and think about this. How in terms using the 4 slides to tell the story that you have on here.
Yeah! That's the part. Yeah!
Oh, it's really hard for us, especially when they change from hot cheetah to like everybody.
It was definitely building pressure. Like, what is this out of blue? They're coming and saying something, right?
All right, sure. That's it. Pencils down. You're gonna have 2 minutes each to present your pitch to see which one we're going to pivot the company, ideally save the company. So first up, we're gonna have couples therapy.
You guys create a cool application, Hot Cheetah, and we really love it so much. But we don't want to hurt anyone. We want to pivot from this idea a little bit, and we want to leave an inspiration from this idea. We want to introduce you ViberDrop. It's a company where you can create like custom clothes, completely custom clothes.
Yeah, we have a small demo.
Yeah.
Main page, where you can create your own drop that AI will turn into the modern, stylish clothes.
All right, that's time.
Thank you.
All right, next up, PhilaCon Valley.
So Hot Cheetah started as a fun idea, Tinder for exotic animals. But we quickly saw the problem. Exotic animal ownership is often illegal. So we pivoted into something bigger, a global wildlife media and subscription platform. Think Twitch for wildlife. Animal has a personality profile, live stream, care story, keeper updates, and a support path. Users can watch live cams, sponsor animals, join virtual talks, receive impact updates, and book ethical travel experiences through the verified partners.
Next up, Ship Happens.
Instead of trying to pair you with things that you can't even actually have, we'd like to help you find your perfect match. So today's adoption model is maybe not the best. Like maybe you go to a kennel, you hope that you see the animal you like. Maybe it's not the same animals that you saw online. You're not really sure if it's the right fit because there's a lot of noise, it's scary for them, and it's just not that good of a model today. So we thought that we would make it a little bit easier and bring it into your home. For our revenue model, as you can see, we have paid features such as the Paw Boost, the Instant Meet. Paw Boost will put you straight up to the top of the queue to meet the animals that you want to meet, and Instant Meet is actually going to book you in the closest location to you to adopt an animal today.
Our next team is going to be Control Alt Elite.
We know that Tinder for exotic animals is illegal, so we made a career pivot. So we came up with crew agents. Basically, it's a AI operational crew for startups, basically. 36% of Founders Week goes to admin tasks, not product. 68% of time spent working in the business, not on it. And then 34% of founders experience burnout from overwork.
So here's our solution, Cruise Agent. So it's a 3-step process. We want to connect your stack. So whether you have Gmail, Notion, MCP servers, you kind of plug that all in. You pick your crew bundle that I'll kind of show in the next slide, and then you have your agents start working. So we have our 4 different crew bundles. So there's solo, pre-seed, creator, agency. We think these are the 4 core ones that we should start, and then based off of user feedback, we can kind of pivot.
Thank you. All right, next up is Sadidi.
Next up is a way to find the exotic animals their safe home legally. First layer, AI matching to the sanctuary where it can accommodate camel or dog or so on. And then create a digital identity and then find a sponsor for the animal or adapt on need basis with a condition. And the profile matching. Match the profile, connect to the sponsor and adapt.
All right, next up is Chicas In Action.
Hot Cheetah, we had a great run. When you started this company, you believe that your customers need to show who they are, that they're unique. And you found that via exotic pet matching.
We would like to rebrand Hot Cheetah to Rome. With Roam, we're using the similar format where you're selecting your type of adventures, also including your food and drink preferences so that we can curate a whole experience for you to really enjoy and immerse yourself.
Are you ready to roam?
All right, next up, Masters of None.
We think the right move is rare kind.
We found a $112 billion market to tap into with a marketplace for luxury experiences. We're trying to tap into the highest level clientele, people that want to spend high dollars to not just spend $80 to watch red panda sleeping. We want to see a tiger on display with others. And also the compliance layer is the most important part. So this is all ethically sourced, and these are also people that actually are a part of the experience to create for you so that you never need to worry.
All right, last but not least, the 404 Arc-itects.
People wanted a feeling of companionship, but they also wanted to stunt. They wanted people to know who they were, and that's why they were willing to spend that kind of money. So we've pivoted to AI companionship. We're going to have customizable AI companions that the user can create and build themselves. So we created a companion ecosystem. You can customize their response, how they look, and again, you can have your exotic animal, right? We create multiple entry points into the AI companion ecosystem, so we want everybody in. And first, you start with a digital twin. So you make it, and you can talk to it, right? Through your computer, through your device. Then you have the Make and Mini, a little small one you can set on your desk, right? And then the bespoke one. If you want a dragon, right? You want to be the mother of dragons in Sage or Dracarys? We can do that for you. Pricing just goes up.
Thank you. PhilaCon Valley.
I mean, he's down a partner this week. He came in strong, super personable. He found 6 different ways to monetize that pivot, and it was like emotionally compelling.
Chicas In Action. So what do you think about them?
So this is the example of them using experiences instead of things. I love that whole thing. And if we're gonna wrap our experiences into animals, they did a perfect job.
But I think one thing we have to remind them here is that sometimes you gotta be practical.
Correct.
You gotta be practical, and one thing that makes a pivot is gotta keep one foot on the ground.
The Chicas In Action, I think, they had a stellar story. They had a really good model. It's scalable, it's luxury, big market.
So how about this? What do y'all think about? Sometimes there isn't a single winner takes all. Is there room for a tie?
Ooh, I don't know.
Do we have a clear winner?
Do we have a tie?
I don't think we have a clear winner. That's the problem. That's
obviously punching well above the weight, going solo.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed the assignment above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect pivots.
I think you just convinced me, because with this one, we have multiple revenue streams. Most of them were controllable. This one is basically a partnership play. I think we stack it up on presentation. They both nailed it. Visuals were amazing. Storytelling, amazing. They both nailed it. Business model, they both nailed it. I think you're right. I think we got to give it a tie.
So some of you definitely landed the plane here. And so one thing that we like from a lot of people is that some things were very practical. Some of you were very concise. And some of you gave us some brand new ideas to explore. All right, so we have our first tie. Chicas In Action.
It was so clear exactly what you wanted to do. The branding was on point. The presentation was on point. You had backing numbers, but you did a great job. You really nailed this.
And so our second winner, PhilaCon Valley.
Hey.
And I'll tell you, you overcame a challenge that many companies will have. And that whole won't always be 50-50. We talked about that earlier. Sometimes it's gonna be 80-20. Today it was 100 and 0. And I'm pretty sure that it's really hard to think about what do you do in a scenario like this. And when you do in a scenario like this, you do exactly what you did.
Great work, everyone.
Great work.
Most of the changes we were like bracing, like, here we go.
I think we had somehow foresight because we were anticipating these changes already, and we were realizing, okay, this is too small. Like, we got to go larger, and so we were kind of ready.
All right. So the previous challengers prepared you for this moment. Now, this is the main challenge. You're gonna have 4 hours to come up with the concept and the idea of your company. We're not building products. You're gonna have 3 minutes to pitch. They're going to give you follow-up questions and answers, so make sure that you're ready. Everyone got it? All right, let's get building. All right, look, this is the main challenge. And I think a lot of people, this is what they came here for. So what are we looking for here?
I think, you know, we gave them a couple challenges to warm up. We got them thinking, we got them being creative, we got them working on hard mode with some of these chaos challenges, and now they have to show us what they can do when we don't throw them curveballs.
The big thing with this show is the full stack.
Right.
And when we think about the full stack, we've kind of seen a couple of the layers so far. People's ability to present, communicate, take existing ideas and run with them with the 2 challenges. Now they're having their own idea, their own go-to-market strategy.
I mean, one of the things that we risk is like if somebody comes in, they're all sizzle and no steak, they're gonna sell us a dream, but they can't deliver, right? But alternatively, if they're all steak and no sizzle, then they're never gonna get anybody on board to be able to build the thing. So I think we need them to be able to deliver across. Like they have to hit both modes. I think the other part that's really gonna show us how full stack they actually are is going to be what they talk about with their architecture.
Exactly.
It's gonna be really obvious if they actually understand what they're trying to do when they explain how they're gonna build it. Because if we see a diagram that makes no sense, or we don't see a diagram at all, there's a lot of hand waving involved in making a product like that.
Yesterday, what did you read? And then what we do is we have to
User has a path. Right, so the story should tie in a person. Yeah.
Who is a cook?
What we going with? What's the idea?
So right now, what we often find is that through nonprofits and sponsorship, right? Like somebody is giving you money and they want to actually see outcomes. So we worked in boot camps and other things like that. And most of those different entities don't have these systems.
So I think the challenge for you all is to dial this in. This is another moonshot for you all. Show them that y'all can land it too.
Okay. You got it.
We created a cruise agent, an operational AI.
So the idea of cruise agent is we're focusing on smaller base companies. You know, when they're hiring, they're trying to find their ideal team members, trying to balance between hiring and trying to still keep things operational while they're trying to find that candidate can be very time intensive.
I'm gonna give you some advice. You did this pitch last time.
Yeah.
It didn't work out well for you. It didn't. Right now, you're talking about who this product could benefit for someone else. This is a problem that you currently have. You're also a new company. You're a new startup. So if you believe a tool like this should exist, personalize it. How would you use it? All right?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Very fine.
Yeah, because it said it was a bad pitch, and I'm like, I think it's because like how he was mentioned. Yes, like the way you're doing it, like how he told me, like the way I'm doing it, how I said it, that's how he wants us to be presenting the pitch.
You know, since me and Jasmine, like we've worked in the past, but like we were just figuring out our dynamics. I think we've kind of figured that out now. So how to make the most of your time prior to the presentation. We could maybe tweak a little bit here and there.
All right, looks like everybody's getting started. Look, good. You got 2 hours left. You're halfway there.
There's 2 hours in, and the 2 hours were for brainstorming. So if we're gonna commit to this, now we have to really tap into why would a customer pay for this?
We have long periods to hire people because we're looking for really strong talent. And there's also retention issues where people will go for the next job because there's another sexy company in front of them that is offering a better culture, a better experience, just all of that around.
So you're spending this money already on silly happy hours or whatever. Why don't you use it for engagement experience? Yes.
So I'm gonna give you some advice here. What other companies compete in this space? How can you come into that market and make it stronger or disrupt it?
Like Messi, you have a lot of like different sources. One group like in Telegram, one group in WhatsApp, one group in Viber, one group in... So we're immigrants, as you know. We know what immigrants faced.
I'm gonna tell you right now, just that. I wanna learn way more about whatever you're building. You leaned into it.
Oh.
And it's so authentic now. So now I wanna hear what comes next.
We want to start with simple entry point for immigrants. It will be calendar based on their nationality and language, because we know that some nationalities, they want to find communities, events for themselves.
So this is where I really want you to lean into the show, don't tell. Because you said events, and my mind immediately went to concerts or having fun somewhere, and not necessarily addressing the challenges of the immigration process. Balance this out a little bit, right? Show, don't tell.
I am tackling a not so sexy issue, but an issue that I think has become a little bit sexier.
Tell us a little more.
American infrastructure.
Okay.
I think that there needs to be a much more approachable public access based to reporting potholes, getting them fixed, tracking them.
So I'm going to challenge you.
Yes.
So if I were to put my investor hat on, and I don't know if this is a business.
Thought about that as well. The data will be able to serve newsrooms, insurance companies, be able to allow the consumer to navigate hazards to save money, and then when incapable of saving that money.
In your presentation, you talked a lot about potholes with me, but make sure you zoom out a little bit and give the judges that big picture of how this isn't just one feature.
I want something really great for my daughter's wedding. I would like to have it short. I'm a mother of 2 boys, 18 and 15. I would love to live long until their graduation, wedding, and kids. What if something happens? I'm not there. That's why we have a product called Still Here.
Still Here is a product for, it's something which while they are living, they can create memories for their kids and loved ones. Even the parents who are going through some issues like dementia where they forget.
I honestly, it's giving me a little Black Mirror vibes. So you got to make sure that this is real and actually practical. So make sure you read the room on this one. How's it going? 10 minutes left. Start working on those pitches. Don't let the judges have any doubt that you belong here.
I'm just nervous about taking the architecture out completely because the others said that they wanted to see architecture.
I'm really nervous
So
about that.
I think we put our heads together and we came up with the best idea that we could, and I'm really happy with how it came together. Kind of mixed on like the architecture diagram, like maybe we should have included it, but I think it went well.
I think it went great. I really enjoyed the earlier part where, kind of just warming up to things and, the playful side of stuff. And then also having more time to really focus on like the bigger pitch that we'll focus on for the next couple of weeks.
All right, that's time. First up, Ship Happens.
Hello friends, we are Launch Buddy. Most builders, like everyone here, are great at building things, but launching is the actual hard part. So launching today, it's broken. We're talking about landing pages, emailing communities, social and PR, analytics, and feedback. And all of these have a cost, both actually financial and in the time that people are taking to implement it. We want to help you focus on actually launching and bringing your passion to the world.
So to help you do that, we're building a dashboard with phases and a curated launch plan. This includes built-in best practices from our years of experience, milestones and achievements to help motivate new founders, and a set of tools to help you take your startup from idea to launch.
So this is for either indie hackers or solar founders today, which is the fastest growing segment of our new product builders, for new product builders. But tomorrow we plan to focus on small teams and early startups who will grow with us. And yeah, ship it, launch it.
Great work.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, next team, City.
As a mom of 2 teens, I always want to be there for every milestone. Their graduation, the first heartbreak, their wedding. But it's not possible all the time. But your voice can be. That's a problem Still Here is trying to solve. Parents are the creators and children are the audiences. Contents are unlocked at exactly the right moment in their life. So 800K life insurance policies are sold every month, and each one of them is our distribution channel.
So here's our serverless architecture. So on the creator side, user authenticate with Amazon Cognito and upload media via AWS Amplify frontend into the Amazon S3 bucket. Later, that content will be picked by the AWS Media Convert to generate the video chapters and Amazon Transcribe to produce text transcript for your voices. The Vault Engine layer then encrypts and store that content in Amazon S3 with object lock using AWS KMS keys.
So someday, my son will open up his phone on a hard night and he will still hear it from me. That's the promise Still Here is to make.
The next team is Couples Therapy.
Locally is a trusted local discovery
platform for life abroad. Our MVP is community calendar for immigrants and long-term travelers. User choose the country, language, nationality, and interest. Then discover local meetup, legal workshop, family activities. We're starting with events because they're a real entry point into local communities. Our business model starts with paid event fees. Organizer can publish events for free, and locality takes a commission only when they sell paid tickets.
For technical parts, Local use simple serverless AWS architecture with Amplify for Next app of Cognito for authentication, IP gateway, and Lambda for the backend logic. So it keeps the MVP lightweight, affordable, and scalable with a room to add some AI features later without rebuilding.
We are immigrants building for immigrants.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Chicas in Action.
Typical companies already know we gotta put an event together for our employees to have some engagement and retention. And this is what the typical budget would look like for those events. We gotta spend money already. Let's just go ahead and spend it. And we've all been to those events. We're kind of forced to be there, and the companies have the best intentions, but it doesn't necessarily keep you engaged. So I understand pretty well the intentionality, and I also understand the point of having a cohesive company culture so that we can work better. And this is why we present to you Lattice. We believe the stronger teams will lead to better productivity and maximize the ROI. And how do we do that?
So we do that by taking a closer look and getting to know your company. So the mission, the culture, the size of it, and also what type of event you're trying to plan out to create really curated and unique experiences for your employees.
This is the impact.
And that's time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Control Alt Elite.
I'm a caregiver. Every morning before I open up my laptop, I'm already showing up for someone else. And then I sit down to build a company. We built the team we couldn't afford to hire. We're Cruise Agent. While we were building this solution, we built in mind for 4 customers. 1, the site stack builder, the caregiver founder, the community builder, and the pre-seed founder. The solution is connect your stack, pick your crew bundle, and crew goes to work.
So we have a 6-layer serverless system where the most important thing is the execution layer. So as a user makes a request and Bedrock spins up the serverless crew agents, and then we just have our data layer to store agent memory and state and fail over when things go wrong. So here you have it. Cruise Agent. Build faster, operate leaner, scale smarter.
Awesome. Time. All right, so next up, the 404 Arc-itects.
Workforce programs often struggle to personalize guidance at scale. Learners need clearer pathways. RiseMap will build to connect skills, goals, projects, and workforce readiness. We've taken 14 years of manually doing this, and we're trying to digitize that solution. Meet Maya. She's experienced, capable, but unsure where she fits in tech. She works at a department store. She's a strong communicator, calm under pressure, learns systems quickly, but she doesn't see herself as technical. RiseMap starts with experience, not a course catalog. So we look at who Maya actually is, give her guided intake, coaching support, and skill translation. She takes her retail experience, we feed that in, we find out what her transferable skills are in the tech pathway. They'll be able to actually track her engagement, milestone, monitor readiness and applications, measure workforce outcomes. And so they have actual data in order to create those narratives that will help them get funding.
Looking at our architecture, RiseMap will be a web-based application. Kira will be our IDE of choice to build the platform. We'll use Amazon Cognito to handle our authentication. Superbase will be our database, and Amazon CloudWatch we will use to monitor our applications and our health logs. Choose RiseMap.
All right, next we have PhilaCon Valley.
Plot hole. Map it, name it, shame it, fix it. Plot holes help residents report hazards faster, helps communities see what is being ignored, helps city contractors, journalists, insurances understand street damage before it becomes more expensive. The product experience. Users see nearby potholes and road hazards. The app has to be faster than complaining on Twitter, easier than finding the right government form, and more transparent than a service ticket that disappears. What makes it different? A public map, ongoing hazard history, neighborhood level visibility, photo severity and AI-assisted classification, community accountability layer, and it is accessible to residents, cities, contractors, and journalists and insurers alike. But Vic, it feels good. But where's the money, bro? Our customer profiles are city agencies and municipality governments, public workers and transportation departments. Fleets need to avoid damage. Journalists and researchers need to tell the infrastructure story. APIs, partnerships, dashboards that let them know what is going on. Under the hood is a mobile-first AWS app. We have Cognito for access. We have storage S3. We have DynamoDB. To understand, we have our location services, recognition, Amazon recognition for AI flows, and Bedrock for civic tiling. Pothole map at New.
Final contestants, masters of none. So I want to introduce you to Data Swarm. Say it, fix it, and ship it. We're dealing with a massive data crisis. This issue is costing the US GDP $3.1 trillion because of poor data quality. So what if you could talk to your data? What if you could tell it where to go? Or what if you could even tell it to fix itself? Ladies and gentlemen, we're not just building a chatbot, we're building an operating layer for a new data ecosystem. I'm sure you use Snowflake, Databricks. Those are your data holders, data managers like Monte Carlo and Calibra, but no one has created a data operator that works across all of these systems until today.
So there's two ways that Data Swarm shows up, reactive and proactive. Reactive is the chat-based experience we're used to now. You can say, hey, this is broken, what's going on? The other is proactive, where you can actually set up a daemon to watch your data pipeline. Your data never leaves your VPC. This is a very complex diagram. Point being, we've thought about this. This is not final. It's not a final commitment. The main thing we're thinking about is these experts. Every one of these items in this box is an expert focused at looking at specific data, making sure it's going the right way. We're starting serverless and light to start. As it scales, we'll build out more.
So we would like your data problems today.
Yes, nailed it.
Awesome. So now, judges are going to go off, review all the pitches, and make the decision. But this particular challenge, someone goes home.
I was able to communicate the problem, communicate the funding opportunities, communicate the monetization opportunities, and communicate that it's really buildable. I think so. I hope so.
We felt like we are done with our timing, and we had little goosebumps like, oh, we are over the time.
So we really enjoyed working and a great presentation from my perspective. I'll wait for the judges.
Control, Alt, Elite.
I would say this is the one I'm struggling with the most. I think that it's a good idea, it's a real problem, but I'm having a hard time understanding how it's any different.
Yeah, where's the moat?
The 404 Arc-itects.
I mean, they really stepped it up from their last presentation. They dug into what they know, and the thing that stuck with me is when they said, this is not a new business, this is us digitizing the business we've been running manually for 14 years. That's a really strong case for a product. And so if I'm thinking about who's safe and who's at risk, I would say this is who's at risk today,
okay.
Right?
You talked about the top 3 with the most potential.
Let's do it, yeah.
These are the 2 that are really on the bubble. I think you already have an idea on like who is probably in danger zone. Have you thought about going home today?
Yeah.
All right. Man, I've watched you all improve just first day, and we just seen the growth already. You all put in the time. The judges had time to review every presentation. Stellar job by everyone. 3 teams really stood out. 404 Arc-itects.
When we heard your pitch, I deeply believed that you are the only people in the world who could build it the way that you've talked about building it. And whether or not you win this competition, I'm going to take it as a personal slight if you don't build that company.
I thought there were some intense moments as we were putting things together, but overall I think it went great, and I felt that we executed very well.
PhilaCon Valley.
Plotholes. I mean, it's my favorite name. I think it's got an amazing story, and I love that you were thinking through the different ways to tie into how to help people, how to help governments, how to help media. It's very well thought through. Great presentation.
Thank you so much. I would say today I am missing Aziz, and hopefully we're here next week so I can compete with quote unquote my other platonic half.
And I'm gonna say huge improvement over the first 2 challenges. Couples therapy.
I want to tell you, your story, your pitch personally resonated with me, definitely as an immigrant myself. I've ran into issues like yours a lot of time. I think there's a huge potential market for that one, and I think you should definitely be considering building that.
Exactly, yeah.
Challenge went great. I really love it. What can be better?
And I know we didn't officially put him in the top 3, but I do want to do a special shout out to City because your presentation today was night and day different from what you did yesterday. Excellent job.
You all made it really hard.
Really hard.
Really hard. There were 2 other teams that stood out for different reasons. These 2 teams at the bottom of the stack. There's a surprise in here. Chicas In Action.
The reason that we put you in the bottom, you had an excellent presentation. Our fear is that it's a service and not a product, and we don't know how it's going to scale beyond the 2 of you.
Next team. Control Alt Elite.
Our fear is that you're leaning a little too heavily into AI without having a whole lot of additional product around it. There's not a lot of a moat there. We love your story. We love the energy. We're just not quite sure that there's enough of a product in it.
Beyond just the LLMs you're using and certain prompts you're using, I feel like there's so much more you can do around that. Some sort of harness, something on top, some of your experience, some of your industry skills are missing there.
All right, so we've gotten the feedback. And unfortunately, the judges had to make a decision. This particular challenge comes with consequence. So one of the teams, we have to turn their TV off.
One.
So I don't see NSA as failure, I just see it as a lesson. You know, you don't lose, you kind of gain experience.
Yes, I didn't show like the best version of myself, but at least I was able to bring something to the table. Si se puede, ustedes saben que sí se puede hacer las cosas. Somos chingonas.
We're really shocked. They're saying goodbye.
I would say relief.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I want folks to know, if I'm in the top 3 and you respect me, you should definitely be respecting anyone that's ever stepped foot in here, because it is not easy. And I think we're gonna run with it. So like I said, I am on 10, not 9, and y'all just better watch out.
It is a dream experience to be this early in your career and to get this type of experience. And so you leverage that, right? I can think of all the times someone told me no or it didn't just work out. But these careers aren't just, they're not a 1 or 2 year thing. These are like, I had a 25-year career. Where is it just beginnings? So you just add this experience back.